Good morning to you all. My name is Anna Donat. I'm a member of the European Parliament and the new president of the Hungarian Momentum Movement Party. It is a great honor and pleasure to give this keynote speech on the demo day of this cutting-edge program. Let me start by thanking the organizers for bringing this political startup incubator to life, as what we really need today is innovation, fresh ideas, and challenging the status quo. This program, which is operated by Liberal International in cooperation with the Friedrich Naumann Foundation, is doing exactly that by setting up a launchpad for liberal and centrist political startups. You are here to change our perceptions on how we view politics and build a network that can prepare other movements on how to become the future of politics. So it is a real pleasure to speak to you today, not just as someone who leads a liberal party, but also as your peer, someone who would like to challenge the status quo. My party, Momentum, is a relatively new actor on the Hungarian political scene. We first appeared with a campaign to stop the government's bid to host the 2024 Olympics in our capital, Budapest. We collected 266,000 signatures, double the necessary, and the government had no choice but to withdraw its bid to host the Olympics. We achieved this only with a few dozens of young people, and for the first time, we beat Viktor Orbán's power machine while he was at the peak of his power. It was a surprise for everyone in Hungary, but not for us. Why? Well, we founded our party in Orbán's Hungary, so we knew what we were up against. And the attacks came immediately. Orbán's propaganda machine, including the public media, made up lies about our personal lives and of our families, and tried to build up the narrative that we are traitors controlled by George Soros or the European Union. Millions of euros were spent on propaganda in the past years to run smear campaigns against the opposition of Orbán. That is why we put so much emphasis on strengthening our party as a community before going public. So when the attacks came, we were standing by each other, and Orbán was unable to break us. Even though we are still here as a strong party in the 11th years of Viktor Orbán's autocratic and illiberal regime, it is important to note that this is all happening in the heart of Europe. And I am sure that wannabe Viktor Orbáns already exist in your countries as well, currently working on their plan to grab power, tear down and dismantle your democratic institutions. So it is our responsibility to stop them from seizing power and to do everything in our power to defend democracy if they do. Us, pro-European politicians, have to step up and fight for Europe every day with all our hearts, because this so-called illiberalism is a virus that is spreading through the continent and might even sink the European project if we don't fight back. So keep in mind that we all have to keep fighting, keep reinventing ourselves to defend our countries, and defend European values, and defend the European project. Because it is not a battle of ideologies. It is a battle between illiberal and anti-European cynics and brave politicians like you who are willing to sacrifice a lot to stand up for European values. This is exactly what this age of uncertainty needs: leaders. Politicians who believe in European values wholeheartedly and who are willing to speak up for it. Speak up for the importance of rule of law, for liberal values, for the marginalized whose voice have been suppressed. Because we see that the most successful campaigns, the greatest political accomplishments of recent years, are tied not to ideologies, but to politicians who believed in their cause and inspired others while doing so. That is my main commitment in politics, is to stay true to the values that led me to politics in the first place. Because that is the only way that I will be able to inspire activists, party members, and voters to join us in the fight for a free and democratic Hungary and a stronger Europe. Most of you have much more experience in this. Many of your parties here are or were part of the governing or an election coalition. So you know exactly that a party can keep its identity in the long run only if it stays true its values and draws its clear red lines in a coalition. This surely annoys other parties or even some of our voters, but there is no point in joining a coalition if we are willing to give up our values. All in all, thank you for listening to me, and a special thanks to Friedrich Naumann Foundation, the Liberal International, and ALDE for this program. I am still learning a lot from my European friends, and I know how useful these programs can be to help us change the way we see politics and to prepare movements to become the future of politics.